Hi everybody, Jo here. How you doing? I hope today's treating you well and I hope all's going well. And if it isn't, and unfortunately I know, life happens and some of you are struggling. I know we've got some lovely ladies in our community that are carers and a couple of gentlemen, and I know it's difficult. So, go and make yourself a brew if you can. If not, pop back later, maybe when you get 5 minutes, and let's just spend a little bit of time together. Because when life's difficult, you do want to spend just time with a friend and just forget about everything else, don't you? So that's what I'm here for, and I'm thrilled that I am. So I've got my brew. I'm on tea today. So quick sip of that. Unfortunately, my throat's playing up, so I may need that later. Now today, I've got a lovely, I think a lovely card and envelope to share with you. And it's a design I came up with last week when we popped in and I was doing all my little toppers. I had a quick play look, and actually as soon as I'd finished our catch up, I went and made this because, as you know, I'm a bit of a wreath girl, always have been, and I just loved that with the heather stamp or one of the other little stamps. And this is off our lovely flower pot set. It's a new set, but it's definitely going to be one of my firm favourites. So that gave me the idea to come up with this design. And as you can see, card, matching envelope. And before I start, I just wanted to point out a couple of ladies, I know Agnes, you've been in touch, and asked about inserts. Now, I don't actually pop inserts in my cards, but what I do is I decorate the inside. So all I've done is a little bit of stamping, a little bit of inking, sentiment, and then there's room for the message here. And I've done it so it ties the whole thing together. So for me, my card, my insert, my envelope, it's all a lovely cohesive design. So I like that. So I'm going to start off with a piece of card. This is Multifarious card and it's 5.5 inches square. I know you like to know the sizes. And I'm going to use my low tack masking tape and I'm just popping it on all four. As you know, love to do this. And you know what? I think if there's something that you like to do, we love to experiment and try different things, don't we? But if there's something you do love to do, there's no reason why you can't keep doing it. Just alter it up a bit. Maybe add a stencil. Maybe use a different colour. Now, I'm going for blue tones today, and I like to match these up. And today I'm going for the Elements, the blue Atoll, and I'm matching it up with Paradise. It's quite a bright blue, and I like this. Oh, cheers. So I'm going to come in with one of my number 7 stencil brushes. And the Elements ink first, because this is my blending ink. And I'm just going to add some colour around the edges. And as always, I'm going to start in the corners and then just drag the colour along. And for me, I always start in the corners because I want the corners deeper. So even if I re-ink look to go down the side, I'll still go back to the corner. And again, for me, I just find it easier. Turn the card round. Again, it's like everything, it almost becomes routine. And it's not that I want my crafting to be routine, but I think if you get a technique you like and you're happy with the results, and after all, we enjoy our crafting, and if it makes us happy, if you're having a bad day, sometimes I just redo one of my favourite designs, because at the end of the day, it's all about crafting and making us happy. We're not doing it for anybody else, really. We need to think of ourselves. And it's important, and you're important, and you need to remember that. I know some days it doesn't feel like it. Believe you me, I know those days. I've had a couple of those recently. Right, so when I'm happy with that, and I've gone all the way around, I might just deepen it a wee bit. Just pull it a bit further in on those corners. But I can do that once I can see. I'm going to come in with, from my circle, my acetate circle masks, the one almost with the in it. And look, that more or less fits in there perfectly. And I'm just going to add, she says, and then keeps moving it, the hint of a circle. So we're almost going to have a circle in our square, and this is going to give me the base for my lovely, lovely wreath. I'm just going to go round and round, and I want to leave a whiter area in the middle, so don't come in too far. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our stamping to this, and that's where we're going to come in with our lovely paradise. And I'm going to use the lavender stamp, and I'm just going to use that one stamp for this wreath design. As I say, I did have a play with a more fuller one where I introduced one of the other foliage stamps, but this one I'm just keeping it. And you know, this would be lovely if you gave somebody a lavender bag or something like that. You know, this would be a lovely, I mean, you could make tags if you sell lavender or lavender products. Imagine lavender tags, they'd be gorgeous. So I'm just going to start anywhere with my lavender on the edge, but try and keep the stalk bit on the inside where the blue. And again, the next one I'm just going to move round, and I'm just going to build up that shape. And just by working my way round, and again, so I'll go on the outside now, but I'm trying to keep the stems if possible. For me, it just worked really well. And then we'll have one on the outside, look. And it does take, you know, it takes time, but I love doing this. I personally find it so therapeutic. And for me, I enjoy, and there is in crafting, we have that phrase, enjoy the process. Sorry, excuse me. Sip of tea time. Sorry, I told you I'd been playing up. We have that lovely phrase, enjoy the process. And I think sometimes it's nice just to sit back and relax and enjoy creating this. So time for one in the middle, look. But again, I'm making sure that that stays within. And that's where the lovely circle comes in, because I know a few of you got a few lovely followers on here, and thank you for subscribing. Honestly, it makes me so happy. I do that little happy dance, jumping around the kitchen, me and Eric. And you were struggling with getting that circular shape. Well, this, because you've got the circle to follow, and if, I mean, I can see it looks like to me I need another one there, look. I can come in and just add. I mean, this you could leave. I mean, look at that. I think that would be lovely. If we added the pot there, that would make a lovely design. In fact, I'm going to make one of those next. But often, you know, quite a lot of you ask and you say, your mojo's gone. And that's a typical example. It just shows you when you start creating, your mind starts getting those crafty juices flowing, and it makes you think of more things you can create. So by creating this design, I've instantly come up with another design which I want to go ahead and play and create. And that's exactly what happened last week when we had our coffee break together. I wanted to try the wreath, and I did straight away. Put it to one side on my desk and thought, right, next week when we catch up, that's the one we can do. So sometimes just blending in, just maybe getting a stamp out. It's like this, a couple of colours of ink. You know, it's amazing what you can do. And we're just going to join this up, look. And for this one, I'm just going to, I think we need one more there. And then I can look at it and look at that. I think that's a beautiful, and especially if you're somebody who likes quite stylish garlands without having too much fuss, I think that's perfect. Now, the other thing you can do is decide where you want it. I'm happy with that there. So I'm just going to lift this up, and I'm going to add my stamping at the corner. And I'll tell you why I'm doing it now, because I'm going to flick some water. So I want to just add my gorgeous jug here. And I love this. Reminds me of those white, I don't know what they are, they're almost metal jugs that you get. They've probably got a certain name, and I know you lovely lot will probably tell me what they're called, but I know the ones I mean, the white with the blue one. And I'm going to put that there. And then let's add some lavender. So I've got a torn piece of copier paper just to protect my jug, just to mask it off. Move that up a little bit. And I want one in the middle. So I'm going to add 3. Just be mindful of the jug that we don't want them. We want to make sure that the stems go in the jug. It's important to put your copier paper there. This is where you don't want to be distracted. You don't want to talk to somebody and miss your copier paper. Then I'm just going to pop that back down because I want to flick some water. So I'm just going to get my fan brush. And I just want a little bit. I don't want to overcook it. Just a few water splats. And obviously I wanted to have my stamping done first because for me, even if it was dry, the water's never the same to stamp on after. So we'll have a few water splats. And I know that this, because it's permanent ink, it's not going to move. Now while that's drying, I have stamped. As you know, I have my tin. Look, I have my tin here with all my butterflies and my scissors. And when I come in the morning, I just cut some butterflies out. So I've stamped, look, our lovely mini butterfly. And to colour him, I did the lovely cheats colouring with our small. I love these number 3 brushes, look. Straight in. And this way, I know it'll all tone in. I'm only using the same 2 colours ink. And don't worry going over the sides, because when I cut that out, nobody will ever know. So there's another one, which I'm actually going to put in my tin, and I'll cut that one out later. So that's one ready coloured in. I love doing it this way because you almost have a bit of a, I would say conveyor belt, but that sounds awful, but I love having things ready for if I need a quick card. Sentiments, and this comes from the Heartfelt Verses. Again, I have a few of these stamped up, but again, this one, I mean, it's in blue, the same, just so it all tones in. And we'll just, nice bit of ink around, just so that it all tones in beautifully. Again, even though we're just using those 2 colours, we can still make a lovely classy card. So I'm just going to mop that up so it all keeps nice and clean. Now by now this ink will have done our lovely faux bleaching. And I'm just going to give it a pat, and then I'm going to run my heat tool over it. 2 reasons. The heat tool will help dry the card, but as you know, it will also just help my low tack. This is Lavinia low tack, so I know it's going to come off, but using the heat tool will just make sure it peels off really, really well. Again, heat from the back, and look at that, it just lifts it up beautifully. I like these things that have 2, we get 2 bites of the cherry, don't we? So look at that, I think that's lovely. Now I want a little bit of sparkle, but not too much. So I'm just going to come in with a lovely sparkle pen and just add a little bit. As I say, not too much. And we'll add a little bit here. Now, if you want to add glitter, if you want to add a bow, depends how, you know, what embellishments you want to add. If you want to add some gems, I'm keeping this one quite clean and simple really, but I like the fact it's got layers to it. Got some sparkle on the butterfly. So I'm going to add my sentiment, and I'm going to put a big dollop of glue in the middle. And then just a little bit at each end, so that it can be raised a little bit in the middle. And did you notice I had a tiny little blue mark there, look? Can you see that there? Just off the corner of my block. So that is going to be hidden under there, and we won't tell anybody about that. So that's why I turned my wreath that way round. We want to add our butterfly, but obviously when I've cut him out, I've cut his antennae off because I don't cut those out. So we'll add him some more because I don't want him flying around in circles, do I? So again, we'll stick him on. There we go. Now, it's up to you whether you want to add the next stage. You may want to leave your card like this. I'm just going to come in with a lovely blue Posca pen. And I know not everybody likes the pen splat, so you can leave yours, as I say. I just want to add a few just across the white there. You know we like this diagonal. It's lovely to see so many of you using the diagonal now in your stamping, your Posca pen. Gently, there we go. We don't need to bash it. So for me, that just finishes off that design. But as I say, if you're happy without, by all means, you leave it without. So there I've got a lovely topper ready to go on my next card envelope. Oh, you know what I haven't done? Good job I saw that just under the jug, just to ground it, look. So with that, again, I'm going to take some ink off the lid, look, and just with the smaller of our brushes, that's perfect, look, just to quickly ground it. That looks better, doesn't it? So for those of you that were shouting, I'd missed my grounding, well done you and thank you. And there's the finished one. I'm just going to lift that like that with the envelope. And as I say, the insert, all I did was take my circle, add a circle and that little bit of stamping. So I'm hoping you enjoy that. Now I think this would look lovely in purple. I'm thinking of the lavender, going along the lavender colours. And as I say, I'm definitely going to have a go at that sort of 3/4 of a garland. But we need a name for that. What are we going to call it? What do you think? Anyway, I need my tea. So quick. Again, careful, not over the work. I've been listening to you. So thanks for popping in. I hope it's cheered you up if you're having a bad day. Do you know what though? If you're having a good day, I hope it gets even better. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.